Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Naveen, and today we will be looking at QA of XAT, and this is part 5 of this series. Okay, so let's start with our first question for the day. A square sheet of paper has a side of 48 centimeter. 4 squares, each of side a centimeter, are cut from each of its corners, and the remaining sheet is folded into an open box. What is the maximum possible volume of the box formed? Well, if we have a square sheet of paper, right, and the side is given as 48. Now, we need to cut out 4 squares from each of the corners. So suppose we cut out these 4 squares from each of the corners. And if we fold along these dotted lines, we will get a particular, so the shape is going to look something like this, okay? And then we are going to fold it along these lines. And when we do that, it will end up in an open box. So it is going to look something like this. So this is going to be the front part, and then we will have the side, and then we will have the next, and then we will have this. So this is going to be an open box, right? Now, the square that has been cut, it has a side of a units or a centimeter. So we need to find out the maximum possible volume of the box formed. So for that, I'm saying if this is L, okay, if this is B, and if this is H, and if I open this, this is what L is going to be, this is what B is going to be, and this is what H is going to be. And H, if you look at it, is nothing but A. So instead of H, I will be writing down A. And if you look into this, L and B, they are not different, but they are same, right? So what we get initially is that L plus 2A is 48. We are asked to find out the maximum possible value of L into A. That's the volume of the open box. So it's going to be L square A. Now, how do we calculate maxima of a combo of product when the sum is given to us? So what you do is you look at the powers given to L and A. It's total 3 powers, out of which 2/3 is given to L. Then you write down the sum given, which is 48. L has a coefficient in the sum as 1, so write down 1 by 1 because it says square, so we'll put a square here. Next, A is given a power of 1 out of total power 3 of sum into coefficient of A is 2, so you will be writing down 1 by 2. So this gives you the volume, and this is going to be maximum when the value of L is what we have written and the value of A is what we have written. So this will become 16, so we will have 32 square into 6, so this is 8. So 32 square is nothing but 1024, right? So 1024 into 8 is definitely going to be 9000 plus, because 24, not 9000 plus, sorry, 8000 plus, right? It's going to be 8000 something. So the only option that makes sense is option A, right? So A becomes our answer. Next question. Find the volume of a cuboid in centimeter cube if the longest rod which is fixed into it is of length of 17 centimeter. The width of the cuboid is 25% less than the length of the cuboid, and the length is 150% of the height. So 150% of the height, and then we have got 25% less. So if I draw such a cuboid, then as per it, if I take this length as 20, not 20, it's 150% of the height, 150% as in 2.5 times, and that is 0.75. So I'll take this as 15. If this is 15, then the height should be 10, so that 150% of 10 is 15. And if you look at the breadth, it should be 20. Okay, breadth should be, this is 25% less. Okay, so we'll have to carefully choose the value of length, breadth, and height. So as per this, the breadth is 0.75 times of length, and the same length is 1.5 times of height. So what I will do is I will take a value such that B is in the table, L is in the table of 4 and 3, 12. So if I take L is equal to 12, the height is going to be 8 and the breadth is going to be 9. Right? Then only this is going to be possible. Such that breadth is 75% of length or 25% less, and the length is 150% of height. So this is going to be 12x, 8x, and 9x. Okay. So the longest diagonal, so we are talking about this particular diagonal, right, should be, it's given as 17. So it is going to be under root 12 square plus 9 square plus 8 square. And I will take out x outside. This is given as 17 centimeter. Now 12 and 9, they will give you a triplet, which will result in 15. 15 square plus 8 square is same. So x turns out to be 1. 15 square plus 8 square is equal to 17 square, isn't it? So x turns out to be 1, which means the height is 9 centimeter, the breadth is 8 centimeter, and the length is 12 centimeter. So the volume of this cuboid is going to be 12 into 8 into 9, which means my answer should be in the table of 9 first of all. So option A is not in the table of 9. Option B is not in the table of 9. Option C is not in the table of 9. Only option D is in the table of 9, right? There is none of the other 3 values, they are in the table of 9. So कल 9 का टेबल काम कर जाएगा, ठीक है? Okay, next. From a stone which is in the shape of a cone with the side 30 centimeter, a right circular cone of maximum volume is carved out. Find the total surface area available to paint on both the cone and the cube. It should be shape of a cube and not cone, right? Otherwise, why would they use the word side? It should be cube. Okay, now this will make sense. So we have a cube here whose side is 30 centimeter given to us. Now we need to carve out a right circular cone of maximum volume. So if we need that, okay. So let's draw the edges that are not visible. So if I need a cone like that, I will be taking out the base of the cone as the entire or the circle of one of the faces of the cube. And then I'll take a point which is the midpoint of the opposite face of the cube. And then I will carve out a cone, right? So The cone will have a diameter of 30 centimeter, which means the radius is going to be 15 centimeter. Since we're talking about volume, the cone will have a height of 30 centimeter, and we don't need anything else, right? Now, the slant height, because we will be dealing with the paint surface, right? That's the total surface area, which will include the curved surface area that includes L. So this is going to be the hypotenuse of this right angle triangle, where one side is 30 and the other is 15, because the base is a circle with radius 15 and the height is 30. So this is going to give us 15 root 5, right? Because this is 15 into 2, 15 into 1, 2 and 1 triplet is root 5. Once we know all the three values, we can calculate the total surface area. So if you think about this, this is going to have the surface area of the cube, which is going to be 6 times r square, right? That will result in 9 into 6, 5,400. Now this will also include the circular component. See, if I consider the cone and the cube, so the cone will have the flat surface, the base, the circular part, it has to be painted. So the part that I don't have to paint in the cube now, which is cut out, now is painted there. So it means that I'm actually painting all the 6 faces of the cube, and I will be painting the curved area of the cone 2 times. Now what will be the curved area of the cone? That is given as pi r L, and L being 15 root 5. So this is the curved surface area of the cone, but it has to be painted 2 times. Why? Because the cone will have that curved surface area, and the cube, which will have a cutout, will also contain the same curved surface area that can be painted. So this is going to result in 225, right? 15 square is 225. 225 into 2 is 450. 450 pi root 5 pi r L. Right? Pi r square plus pi r L. We have 670. 6,000 plus root 5. I'm making some mistake. If I take out 15, hmm, 617. Rather, Vinod, it is because of the reason that the exam centers were randomly given. So people were supposed to travel 100, 200, 300 kilometers away from the exam centers that they had opted for. That is the reason they have taken it back. Now they are going to provide the test centers closest to your place. Okay. So we have only 450, and this data is about in thousands. Let me think once again if I'm making a mistake. The curved surface area of a cone is given as pi RL. So pi is going to stay. Radius is only 15 and not 30. And slant height is 15 root 5. 15 into 15 is only 225. If I double it, it's going to be 450. Okay. So here is the issue. The issue being we shouldn't have zeros. Okay. We shouldn't have zeros. And the fourth should be none of these. Because 675 makes sense. Reason being if I include the surface area of the circle or the area of the circle, that's going to give me pi r square, which is another 225. So if I add 225 to it, it will result in 675. 6750 to kisi halat mein nahi aa raha, right? The surface area of the cone is not going to be more than the surface area of the cube. Impossible. Okay, उसी के अंदर से निकल रहा है ना, तो उससे ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकता. So this is what you can have max. So this makes sense, but this 1225 pi is already, subtracted from the cube. So the answer is supposed to be none of these. It should be actually 5400 plus 450 pi root 5. ये होगा answer. ठीक है? D is going to be the answer. So इसको मैं ठीक कर देता हूँ. Okay. Next question. A sphere with the largest possible volume is placed inside a hollow cone of radius 9 centimeter and height 12 centimeter. Find the ratio of the volume of the sphere to the volume of the cone. So we need a hollow cone. So suppose this is the hollow cone that we have. And inside this cone, a sphere of largest possible volume is placed. So it should be touching the base as well as it should be touching the slant heights, right? A sphere is going to look like this. Now, the cone has a radius of 9, so this is going to be 9, and the height is 12. So this is 12. So if we look into this, this is perpendicular, right? Because this is like the slant height is like a tangent, the circular base is like a tangent to the cube, to the sphere. So if I look it from far away, थोड़ा दूर से देखेंगे, I can convert this into a 2D figure where the side is 12 each and the base is 18. In other words, this is an isosceles triangle where half of this is obviously 9, which turns out to be the radius of the cone. And inside this, we have a circle. Now, this circle is going to have distances, which is going to be both equal to 9. Reason being, these are like tangents from an external point. And we need to find out the radius, right? And the distance. Now, this is also going to touch it here. So we don't know if this is equally divided, as in this is this 160, 160. Up 12 में से 9 इधर है, so obviously this is left with only 3, right? This is only 3. This one is going to be 9, and again this one is going to be 9. Right? I hope you are able to understand that this circle is actually going to be the in radius of this particular triangle. So now, how do we calculate the in radius of a triangle? If it's a right angle triangle, it's pretty easy. If it's an equilateral triangle, then also it was easy. But since it's an isosceles triangle or an scalene triangle, we unfortunately have to solve it using area of a triangle, right? So we can say that area of this triangle is equal to small r into S, semi-perimeter, which is 12 plus 12 plus 18 ka half. And the area of this triangle can be written as half into base into height. So if I want to calculate the height, this is 9 and this is 12. So we have what is to 9 is to 12, which is 3 is to 4. So 16 and 9 है, ये √7 हो जाएगा, ये √7 हो जाएगा, or 3√7 to be precise if I multiply everything by that. So 9 plus 7 is 16. ठीक है. So this is going to be 3√7. So we will get the value of in radius from here, which will be the radius of the sphere. So it turns out that this is 24. Plus 18, 42. So this is 42. 2 and 2 cancels out. And then 3 cancels out. So this is going to be 14. This cancels out. So this is 7. So radius is going to be 9 by √7. So what is the volume of this sphere? The volume of this sphere is pi 4 by 3 pi r cube, which is weird, which doesn't look like that we are going to have irrational values in the options. 12, 12 and 18, that is 42 of course. And 12 is the hypotenuse of the right angle triangle, where 9 is one of the sides, 12 is another. Oh, made the 12 is the height, 12 is not the slant height. Sorry. 12 is the height. So we have 9, 12 and 15. That's the triplet. We don't need this. So this will also change because option did not have irrational value, right? So that's what I was thinking, कि कैसे आएगा volume of the sphere irrational. So area of this triangle is going to be radius into semi-perimeter, which is going to give us 30 plus 18, which is 48 by 2. That is going to be half into base into height. So 2 and 2 cancels out. This is 12 into 4 and this is 6 times. So in radius turns out to be 6. 12 into 4, 48. No, 6 nahi hai. 12 into 4, 48 and we have 4 and this is 9. So in radius is 9 by 2 actually. So volume of the sphere is going to be 4 by 3 pi is though not required, but I'll still keep it, divided by volume of the cone. Volume of the cone is given as 1 by 3 pi r square h. So pi goes away, 3 goes away, 9 square goes away. We have an 8 here. So 4 goes away. So 2 goes away. Anything else left? तो denominator में ही जाएगा ना. So this is going to be 9 by 2 into 12. 3 further goes away. So we'll have 3 by 8. Such a silly mistake. 12 was not the slant height, but it was actually the basic height, as in the standard height. Yep. 3 by 8. Next, two spheres of radii 10 and 2 are inscribed inside a right circular cone. The bigger sphere touches the smaller sphere and also the base of the cone. What is the height of the cone? Okay, so again we have a cone. Now we have a sphere that touches the base of the cone, the sides, and then we have a smaller sphere. The bigger sphere touches the smaller sphere as well. Okay, and now we are given that the radii is 10 for this and radii is 2 for this. We are asked to find the height of the cone. Okay. So if you look at this particular right angle triangle, this is 2, right? This distance is, let's say, d. And if we take the next right angle triangle, sorry, perpendicular इधर नहीं है बल्कि इधर है. This is 10. This distance is going to be d plus 2 plus 10. So this is d plus 12. And if we take the entire right angle triangle, as in pura distance, yahan tak. So this is d plus 2 plus 10 plus 10, which is d plus 22. And we don't know the radius, the larger radius. Okay. Well, we don't have to use this because there are two variables involved, d and r. We can simply use this. These two are similar triangles, right? Because this angle is same, 90 is same. So A is similarity. So from here we can say that d by 2 is equal to d plus 12 by 10. So we will get the value of d from here. So this gives us d is going to be 3, right? If d is 3, that means this distance is 1 because this is 2, this is another 2, this is 5, and this turns out to be another 5. Sorry, not 5, 5, 10, 10. So this is 10 and this is 10. So we have 25 as the total height. What is the radius? We can calculate the radius of the cone as well right now, but not relevant, not required. That's not what is asked. Remember the distance that I have taken, it included the radius 2 of the smaller hemisphere, smaller sphere. So this was 2 plus this distance. This entire thing, I took this as d, right? So 25. Next. A spherical ball is painted on its surface area with 2 liters of gold colored paint. So that means we have a spherical or इसमें से आधा नहीं काट कर ना, ठीक है चलो. We have a spherical ball whose total surface area is 4 pi r square, r being the radius, and this is equal to 2 liters, right? Whatever is the surface area, that is going to be equal to the paint. If the same ball is cut into 8 identical pieces, so 8 identical pieces would mean halfway, and then like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have got 8 identical pieces, each with each cut along each plane. Find how much more paint in liters is required, how much more. So if you look at this, all these 8 pieces, they are going to look like a piece of a pizza slice, right? Not exactly pizza slice, but this is more like a bread slice, right? Because this is not a disc, this is rather a sphere. So this surface is already going to take 2 liters. Can we say the extra area will be the areas that we will get from the inside cut? Well, if I look at this particular plane, this will include one circle, right? Similarly, this particular plane will bring me another circle. So we have 2 circles like this. Then we are going to have a third circle. and then we are going to have a fourth circle. Right? So every time you cut it along the center, it will generate you 4 circles. And each circle will be a part of 2 sides or 2 figures, one below, one above, one to the left, one to the right. So actually we will have 8 circles more that you will have to paint. 8, see, this 4 pi r square would mean 4 circles, right? This is 4 times of pi r square. So can I say if 4 circle के लिए 2 लीटर चाहिए तो 8 circles के लिए we will need 4 liters of more paint, right? Cut it along each plane. We need 8 identical, right? For 8 identical, I'll have to cut it 3 times. No, I'll have to cut it 4 times. 4 बार कट करना पड़ेगा, 3 times तो नहीं करना पड़ेगा. So we will need 4. So actually the surface area is 4 pi r square for that. For this it is 4 pi r square plus 4 circles. Each circle is going to be painted on 2 sides because it will give you 2 pieces. So it will become 8 pi r square. So more paint required. If this was 2 liters, this will be 4 liters more. So 4 liter extra चाहिए. C option होगा. ठीक है? Next, Naina uses 396 cc of red mud, 468 cc of black mud, and 324 cc of moor mud to mold into a number of solid right circular cylinders of each type of mud. Okay, these cylinders have the same volume, and each of these has a height of 9 centimeter. So volume is same, height is same, that means radius is same. If the total number of cylinders is to be kept at a minimum, then the total curved surface area of all these cylinders in square centimeters. If we want them to be kept as minimum, so we can say that 396, 468 and 324 का HCF निकाल लेते हैं. When I take out HCF, so I'm trying to say that the maximum factor that I can take, each of the cylinder is going to contain that volume, because the leftover you cannot segregate, you cannot further break it down. So the HCF of all of this is going to be 396 and 324. They are 72 apart, and 72 में नहीं होगा, 36. So this is going to give you 36. So each cylinder has a volume of 36 cubic centimeter. Okay. Now 36 cubic centimeter का मतलब हो गया, when we have red colored cylinders, we will have 36 into 9, as in 9 cylinders or 9 such figures. When we talk about black mud, we are going to have 36 into 13 cylinders. And if we talk about the moor mud, this is going to be 324, which is, sorry, this is 11, not 9. Red ka 396 hai na? It's 36 into 11, and this is 9 cylinders. So we can see that we are going to have a total of 33 cylinders we are going to have, right? And each cylinder is going to have a volume of 36 cubic centimeter. Now, what will be the surface area? And we're talking about the total curved surface area of the cylinders, not the top and the bottom. So we're only talking about the slant one. So can we say this 36 cubic centimeter is the volume, right? So the volume of a cylinder is given as pi r square, we don't know the radius, and into h. So what I will do is I'll remove this and write this as pi only. So this becomes 4, and we will have the r square as r square nahi r le lete hain, r as 2 by under root pi. So this is the radius of each cylinder. So what will be the curved surface area? Curved surface area of a cylinder is given as pi RH, right? No, sorry, it's given as 2 pi RH. So this will become 2 times pi into radius, and radius is 2 by root pi, and into h, and h is given as 9. So the curved surface area of each cylinder is going to be 4 into 9, 36 root pi. Okay? But we need 33 of them. तो ये कितना देने वाला है? If the height is not in terms of root pi, so this is going to give us, anyways, 303.14 का स्क्वायर रूट कितना हो जाएगा? 27, 17, 18 का 324 होता है. 3.14 is going to be 1.7 something, right? 1.7 something square is going to be 3.14. So we need 36 into 33 into 1.7 के आसपास. Now 1.7 कितना? This is calculative. Total curve surface area. Sindura, it's talking about curved surface area and not total surface area. The word total is used because we have 33 cylinders. So when they say total, it means you calculate the curved surface area of one cylinder, curved surface area of the other cylinder, curved surface area of the third cylinder, and so on. So we don't have to calculate total surface area. What you have written, this is what we would have been doing if curved word was missing here. ठीक है, I hope वो part clear है. So it becomes kind of imperative that we know what is going to be under root 3.14, right? So under root 3.14, 1.7, how much? 175 square, 17 into 18. No, it's going to be more than that. Okay. Okay, I'm changing one thing here, everyone. ठीक है. I'm changing just one small thing here so that it makes sense. ठीक है. The way the question is mentioned, मेरे को लगता नहीं है कि जो होना चाहिए, उससे कुछ आएगा। None of the options will make sense, right? Because nowhere it is given that this is approximate or something like that. So I'm making the height as 9 by root over pi. Sorry, 9 by pi I should take, not root over. If I take this as 9 by pi, so pi gets cancelled out. I'll get radius as an integral value so that I don't have to deal with any of this. 2 pi RH will turn out to be 2 pi, radius being 2 and height being 9 by pi, pi cancels out. So the area of each is 9 into 4, 36, right? So we will have 36 into 33 is what we should have. But then 36 into 33 is going to be 1188. Right? 33 cylinders we are going to have. 2 pi, radius is 2. Volume is 36. And the curved surface area is 2 pi r into h. H is 9 by pi. And if I take 9 by root pi, so this is going to be can we say B option makes sense because it's in the table of 1188 or it's in the table of 11? Do we have any option which is in the table of 11? No, only B option is in the table of 11, right? और तो कोई है भी नहीं. Only that number is in the table of 11. So even though there is some calculation mistake that we may have done or the question may have done, 2376 only makes sense. Okay. So looks like they had doubled it, but because 1188 ka double 2376 hota hai. Yes. And we don't have a 2 anywhere. Okay. A right circular cone, a right circular cylinder, a cube and a sphere all have the same radius, and cube has side equal to the radius, and the heights of the cone and cylinder equal to their diameters. Then their volumes are proportional respectively too. So we have a right circular cone, a right circular cylinder, a cube, and a sphere. They all have the same radius, r, and cube has a side equal to the radius, r, and the heights of the cone and cylinder are equal to their diameters. Then their volumes are proportional too. Well, we very much know that in the case of a cylinder and a cone with the same base radius and the height, as in दोनों की बात कर रहा हूं मैं, the cone is going to be 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. 1/3 doesn't exist in A and B. So the volume of the cone is going to be 1/3 pi r square h. Volume of the cylinder is going to be pi r square h. Sorry, r is this, no? R square h. Volume of the cube is going to be r cube, and the volume of the sphere is going to be 4/3 pi r cube. So the first thing that we cancel out is pi. The next thing that we can do is cancel out r cube. which results in 2 by 3 is to 2 is to 1 is to 4 by 3. Now, if I multiply throughout by 3, and of course, pi cancel नहीं होगा, pi actually रहेगा, pi cancel नहीं कर सकते. So if we multiply throughout by 3, this gives me 2 pi is to 6 pi is to 3 is to 4 pi. Right? This makes sense? What? D makes sense? Right? Because C में तो नहीं हो पाएगा. We are supposed to have a 3. You can't take out common 3. Even you can't take out 2 common. So पहला 3 तो it only matches with D option, right? I mean the previous D option. So only D makes sense. Okay, either ठीक है, either type होगा. Okay, so that's all for today. People who are new to BYJU'S exam prep, you can unlock your 3 days free trial access to our app by putting in your contact number and clicking on start free trial. You can also enroll in our CAT and non-CAT 2023 test series that will include more than 55 non-CAT mocks, 10,000 practice questions, and those tests and questions, they cover all the topics and subtopics. You also get video solutions. You can also download our app and talk to our counselor by clicking on the button talk to our counselor on the homepage. You can also predict the college based on your profile by going to the link which is pinned in the comment section. Do not forget to join us everyone for first impression and detailed analysis for XAT 2024 on 7th of Jan. Do check out our social media handles and pages. That's all for today. Thank you. Thank you everyone.